October nights. Crisp leaves rustling underfoot. Shadows stretch across quiet streets. And somewhere, just beyond the reach of your porch light, a scream echoes. A scream from a time long past. The 1980s were a golden age for horror. Slashers, scream queens, and blood-soaked finales filled theaters and late-night cable. Some of these films became legends, etched into the collective memory of a generation. Yet, many others slipped quietly into obscurity, forgotten by all but the most dedicated horror enthusiasts. Tonight, we turn our attention to those hidden gems, films that carried the same thrill, the same suspense, but somehow escaped the mainstream radar. These are not your Friday the 13th or Halloween crowd pleasers. These are the obscure, the overlooked, the underappreciated. They possess a raw energy, a distinct 1980s flavor that mixes practical effects, experimental camera work, and audacious storytelling. Some teeter on the edge of surrealism. Others embrace formulaic terror, with a twist that makes them feel eerily fresh even decades later. In this video, we will explore 5 forgotten Halloween horror films from the 1980s. Films that will make you nostalgic for the decade, but will also surprise you with their intensity, their creativity, and their audacity. Each one carries a story not just on screen, but behind the scenes. A tale of production struggles, bold visions, and sometimes shocking controversies that kept them from becoming household names. So, dim the lights, settle into your chair, and prepare to journey through the shadows. These are the films that time almost forgot. Welcome to the Forgotten Frights Archive. The Mutilator, 1984. The Mutilator opens with an atmosphere thick with tension. A coastal summer setting that contrasts sharply with the carnage about to unfold. Set in a remote beach house in North Carolina, the film follows a group of college students who return to a family vacation home, only to find themselves stalked by a mysterious and violent killer. The narrative seems simple at first, almost familiar, a quintessential 1980s slasher setup. But beneath its surface lies a unique blend of psychological dread and audacious gore that sets it apart from other films of the decade. Directed by Buddy Cooper and produced by Michael Moorer, The Mutilator never achieved mainstream recognition, despite its polished cinematography and creative kills. One of its most notable elements is the killer, a fatherly figure turned monstrous, whose presence is both haunting and oddly tragic. Unlike the faceless killers of the era, this villain carries a backstory that hints at deeper family trauma, a narrative choice that gives the film more weight than a standard body count slasher. What also distinguishes The Mutilator is its commitment to practical effects. The movie embraces the over-the-top gore that the 1980s are infamous for, with carefully crafted sequences that remain shocking even by today's standards. The kills are inventive, sometimes brutal, yet executed with a sense of craft rather than chaos. This approach elevates the film from mere shock value into a piece of horror artistry. On its release, The Mutilator faced criticism for its graphic content, relegating it to the VHS rental circuit and cult obscurity. Yet, modern horror historians and collectors often praise it for its unique pacing, atmospheric score, and attention to suspense. It's a film that rewards patience, a slow burn that lulls you into a false sense of security before unleashing its full fury. For aficionados of 1980s horror who appreciate character-driven slasher stories, The Mutilator is an essential rediscovery. The Dorm That Dripped Blood, 1982, set against the claustrophobic backdrop of a college dormitory, The Dorm That Dripped Blood captures a distinctly early 1980s aesthetic: tight corridors, shadowed stairwells, and a pervasive sense that danger lurks just beyond the frame. The film follows a group of college students returning to campus for the summer, only to discover that a killer has been stalking the hallways, targeting them one by one. Its plot may echo familiar slasher tropes of the era, but the film's atmosphere and visual tension distinguish it from other contemporaries. Directed by Stephen Carpenter and Jeffrey Obrow, the film's production faced several hurdles, including censorship issues and last-minute reshoots, which ironically added to its eerie and disjointed charm. The killer, masked and methodical, embodies the unseen dread that was a hallmark of early 80s horror. You never fully see him until the moment of impact. This approach to suspense builds a slow-burning anxiety, making the audience hyper-aware of every creak in the dorm, every shadow in the hallway. What makes The Dorm That Dripped Blood particularly memorable is its use of setting as a character. The dorm itself seems alive, its wood-paneled rooms and narrow staircases amplifying every scream and footstep. Practical effects, including inventive blood squibs and creative kill sequences, lend authenticity to the horror while remaining grounded in the era's technological limitations. This practical craftsmanship gives the film a tactile, almost visceral quality that resonates decades later. Though it never reached mainstream acclaim, the film earned a cult following on VHS, particularly among horror collectors who appreciated its attention to suspense and production design. Its pacing, methodical, tense, deliberate, rewards patient viewers, offering more than just jump scares. Scholars of horror often note its influence on later dormitory-based slashers, recognizing it as an early experiment in combining psychological dread with traditional gore. For fans seeking forgotten horror gems, The Dorm That Dripped Blood stands as a testament to the era's experimental spirit, a hidden corner of 1980s slasher cinema that continues to haunt those willing to explore it. The Initiation, 1984. The Initiation begins as a tale of youthful ambition and hidden rivalries, set against the elite world of college sororities. At its heart, the film follows Kelly, a determined young woman navigating the pressures of campus life, social hierarchies, and the dark undercurrents that ripple through her sorority. But beneath this seemingly familiar veneer lies a meticulously crafted horror story, one that balances psychological tension with the slasher conventions of the 1980s. Directed by Larry Stewart and co-written by Peter Joyce, the film earned attention for its striking cinematography and suspense-driven storytelling. Unlike many of its contemporaries, The Initiation leans heavily into mood and atmosphere. The college campus becomes a labyrinth of shadowed corridors, late-night stairwells, and abandoned rooms where danger can materialize at any moment. The killer's identity is shrouded in mystery, and the narrative keeps viewers guessing until the final moments. One of the film's most notable aspects is its integration of technology and media into the horror. Surveillance cameras, telephone calls, and even experimental psychological studies contribute to a sense of paranoia, making every interaction charged with potential threat. This approach differentiates it from more straightforward slashers of the era, giving it a cerebral edge alongside its traditional thrills. Practical effects are another standout. Blood, bruising, and inventive kills are handled with care, creating moments of genuine shock while preserving narrative coherence. The film's score, pulsing and synth-driven, further heightens tension, embodying the 1980s penchant for electronic horror atmospheres. Though it didn't dominate box offices, The Initiation has earned recognition among cult horror fans for its ambitious blending of suspense, character development, and traditional slasher elements. Its careful pacing, attention to visual storytelling, and subtle psychological complexity make it a hidden gem, one that rewards viewers who appreciate slow-burning horror over gratuitous gore. For those exploring the shadows of 1980s horror, The Initiation is a masterclass in tension, a film that lingers long after the credits roll, quietly reminding audiences why some of the most effective frights are the ones almost forgotten. Killer Party, 1986. Killer Party stands out as one of the quirkiest and most visually inventive slashers of the 1980s. Set at the prestigious Wentworth College, the film follows a college student, April, who arrives on campus for a wild Halloween party, only to become entangled in a nightmarish blend of murder, mystery, and supernatural intrigue. From the opening scene, the film signals that it refuses to conform to typical slasher formulas. Vibrant lighting, surreal dream sequences, and offbeat humor create a disorienting but compelling atmosphere. Directed by William Fruet, Killer Party is notable for its experimental approach to the genre. The story doesn't just rely on physical scares, it plays with perception, using vivid colors, unusual camera angles, and abrupt tonal shifts to unsettle the viewer. The murders, while graphic, are often framed in a way that emphasizes suspense and style over sheer gore. The killer, masked and enigmatic, is less a central character and more a force of chaos, making the audience feel perpetually on edge. One fascinating element is the film's commentary on youth culture and college life. Beneath the bloody chaos lies an exploration of peer pressure, ambition, and the often grotesque extremes of social competition. Costumes, props, and party sets are meticulously designed, reflecting both the exuberance of the decade and the darker undercurrents that the narrative seeks to expose. Despite its inventive style, Killer Party struggled commercially and largely disappeared from theaters, gaining recognition mainly through late-night cable broadcasts and VHS rentals. Modern horror aficionados appreciate it for its ambitious visual design, layered narrative, and willingness to take risks in a genre often dominated by formulaic plots. The film also boasts a soundtrack that blends synth-driven suspense with playful motifs, reinforcing its dual nature as both a horror film and a darkly comic exploration of college excess. Its pacing, alternating between slow, suspenseful build-ups and sudden bursts of violence, keeps viewers off balance, a hallmark of its cult appeal. For fans of 1980s horror seeking something unconventional, Killer Party is a hidden treasure, audacious, unpredictable, and distinctly of its era. It reminds us that some of the decade's most intriguing horror films weren't the ones everyone remembers, but the ones daring enough to play by their own rules. The Initiation of Sarah, 1981. The Initiation of Sarah occupies a unique space in 1980s horror, a made-for-television film that blends supernatural suspense, witchcraft, and social drama. Unlike theatrical slashers, it relied on psychological tension and eerie atmospherics rather than overt gore, creating a creeping sense of dread tailored to the living rooms of early 80s America. The story centers on Sarah, a shy and introverted young woman, who becomes entangled in a secret society at college that harbors dark, occult powers. As her latent abilities awaken, jealousy and ambition among her peers escalate into a chilling chain of events. Directed by Robert Day, the film is notable for its careful construction of suspense. Shadows, candlelit rooms, and the haunting use of score all contribute to a slow-building unease. Unlike standard slasher fare, the tension here is character-driven. The fear emerges from manipulation, rivalry, and the unknown, rather than predictable physical threats. This approach makes The Initiation of Sarah feel both sophisticated and timeless, appealing to viewers who value psychological nuance in horror storytelling. The performances, particularly by Kay Lentz as Sarah, convey a genuine vulnerability that heightens the supernatural elements. The film explores themes of power, envy, and transformation, while incorporating visual motifs, mirrors, candles, and ceremonial spaces that reinforce its occult undertones. These artistic choices give it a depth that elevates it above many contemporary TV movies. Though it did not receive theatrical release, The Initiation of Sarah achieved lasting recognition among horror enthusiasts for its craftsmanship and atmospheric storytelling. Its slow pacing rewards attentive viewing, and its ability to generate suspense without relying on explicit violence sets it apart from mainstream horror of the decade. Today, it is often celebrated as a forgotten gem of early 1980s television horror, a piece that reflects both the cultural anxieties and creative experimentation of its time. For audiences exploring the shadows of 1980s horror, The Initiation of Sarah offers a haunting, sophisticated journey into power, fear, and the supernatural. As the shadows of these forgotten horrors fade, we remember the creativity, suspense, and audacity of 1980s cinema. If you loved rediscovering these hidden gems, subscribe for more lost fright stories, like this journey through the past, and hit the bell to never miss the chills that time almost forgot.